Wisdom from Semjase, pronounced Semjase. Each man and woman has a spirit that cannot die nor sleep, even during the deepest sleep. It records all thoughts and motions, and informs them whether their thoughts are correct or not, if they have learned to pay attention. Truth never changes. Many ascended masters have been sent to earth by us. The spirit within each man and woman is the bearer of the creative realm, and everyone has their own. It is incomprehensible when the people on earth speak of a heaven, or a kingdom of heaven within themselves, rather than to merely say, creation, truth, wisdom, knowledge, consciousness or existence. Someone's yearning lies in the joy that remains, for the imperishable life, the permanent peace, the spiritual and consciousness-related wealth, that never fades and lasts forever. The heavens and the earth will perish, however, truth, wisdom and knowledge will never be changing or perish. A man or woman's spirit, and therefore, their consciousness, is on the lookout for what is perfect, for harmony, peace, comprehension, realization, wisdom, knowledge, truth, beauty and love, all of which are of eternal duration. All of these lead to the spiritual knowledge of the truth, and each are existing within what is creative. All of these are here in existence now, as genius of all ingenuity, as melody of all melodies, as ability of all abilities, as the highest creative principle, as wonder of all wonders. Everyone has the ability to create fantastic worlds in a dream, just as creation consciously generates a universe. This capability arises from someone's spirit, which is in existence within themselves, in the same way that unlimited power is available from within. The people themselves are the realm of the infinite, the realm of what is creative. This is why the past philosophers on the earth spoke of the people as being a microcosm within a macrocosm, because everything included within a universe is also within a man or woman's spirit. The inner dimensions of every man and woman are endless. The spirit within every man and woman is a fragment of creation itself, is the existence without dimension, bears all dimensions within itself, and at the same time, transcends all dimensions. A man or woman's spirit is the wonder of all wonders, and infinite power emerges from it. A wonder is someone using their spirit's unlimited power in relative perfection. However, the people on earth think a wonder is something for which they appear to lack any possibility of a logical explanation. If someone is happy, their emotion is coming from within, because happiness is a self-created state, therefore, it cannot ever be a location. Joy comes from someone's innermost part, and is created by spiritual poise. Therefore, everything emanates from within. The things or people, who seemingly form the cause of happiness, are only the external occasion needed, in order to bring forth the happiness within someone expressing themselves, if they have consciously worked towards this. Therefore, happiness belongs to someone's innermost being, and is an inseparable characteristic of a man or woman's existence. Endless happiness and infinite power are available at any given moment. Outwardly, someone may be old, however, this is always temporary. Not so long ago, they were not, and when their physical body dies, they will not be, for only the physical body is able to become old and infirm. In contrast, a man or woman's spirit remains forever young, and is incapable of suffering any symptoms of old age. Old age, like youth, infancy, as well as sorrows, grief or problems, are all things that pass, like it is the case with every kind of external condition and experience of life. What is lasting is the existence of a man or woman's spirit, truth, wisdom, knowledge and reality. What matters is to recognize and build them, for they will only make the people on earth free. If someone recognizes the existence of their spirit, getting older becomes less feared. All kinds of sorrow, suffering, problems, changes, ups and downs of life, the environment or the world, are not able to throw them into grief as often. Knowledge and comprehension are tremendous elemental forces. Comprehension is light. And anywhere a light shines, darkness and ignorance vanish. Therefore, ignorance is the actual darkness, and is overcome by the clear and bright light of comprehension. Wisdom and knowledge are characteristics of a man or woman's spirit, and therefore, someone's consciousness, and bears within itself the qualities of happiness, truth, balance, beauty, harmony, peace, and joy. Comprehension is light. Wisdom and knowledge are characteristics of someone who has recognized the existence of their spirit, and also follows the laws of creation. Wisdom is a man or woman using their spirit's force in relative perfection. Wisdom and knowledge are two things that amount to one, in the same manner as sunlight and a star are two things. The sunlight results from the heat of a star, which it generates through its own natural processes. Similarly, there is also an existence in reality that by the power of natural forces generates particles of matter through the generation of thought energy in order to enliven the endless eons as truth, wisdom, and knowledge, according to a natural uniform guideline along certain creative laws. This forceful existence is creation. There is only one existence throughout reality, only one consciousness, and it remains in constant evolution of itself, from within itself. The eternal truth is not subject to variations and changes, therefore, the laws of creation never need to be revised or adjusted to new times. A man or woman's spirit is vital and dynamic, namely, it contains their wisdom and knowledge within itself. It is a sign of vast ignorance when religion and all its various illogical concepts are presented as instruments of what is creative, and wisdom becomes unobtainable and unreal through this. The people on earth search everywhere for strength, freedom, joy, and truth, however, not where they actually may be found. Wisdom and knowledge are distinguishing features of creation that as a fragment inhabits each man and woman as their spirit. Therefore, the people on earth should increase their knowledgeable wisdom in order to recognize the existence of their spirit and the laws of creation. They should increase their dedication to the truth, for only then will they be able to experience the infinite power of their spirit. Comprehension of the truth brings liberation from all restrictions. It brings boundless wisdom and knowledge. Understanding the truth is the only way to recognize the laws of creation. Someone who is filled with love is also rich in knowledge, and therefore, someone who is rich in knowledge is also full of love. However, the people on earth cheat themselves, for they do not understand real love. They often interpret grasping feelings and sentiments as love, while to them, real love remains strange and not understood. Someone may be considered enlightened only when they recognize the truth. The people always find that enlightenment and recognition are wisdom, knowledge, and love, and where love rules, there rules what is creative. Wisdom and knowledge belong together, because creation and its laws are wisdom and knowledge at the same time. Where there is wisdom and knowledge, there is love and comprehension, and where there is comprehension and love, there is peace. Growth within wisdom and knowledge will teach the people on earth how to recognize the truth. However, first they must learn, and through their own thinking, they will gain unlimited freedom and peace. A power without an end. Wisdom and knowledge are stimulating wings of the creative essence and character within everything and nothing. With wisdom and knowledge, the people become their own masters. Wisdom and knowledge increase their dedication to live by natural creative laws, for a man or woman's spirit and creation are one. The people on earth often speak of love they do not understand. They believe their sentiments to be love, and by this they deceive themselves. Love cannot be clothed in words, for it is very similar to luck, a state of being, as opposed to a place you may visit. Love is imperishable, and nothing may change it into something else. The path of every man and woman's spirit ultimately leads to comprehension of reality, wisdom, knowledge, and love. The sense and function of the spiritual teachings are to spread understanding, wisdom, knowledge, and love. If this fails, it is not a help anymore, but an illogical cult, which through confused teachings, enslaves the people, and produces vast ignorance, as it is the case with the various religions' illogical teachings. If it pursues the function of expanding the spiritual knowledge, then it is a powerful instrument of the creative order. The spiritual teachings deal with the spreading of comprehension, truth, wisdom, knowledge, and love, with what is eternal, immortal, imperishable, that which overcomes death and spreads light, with what embodies within itself the balance of wisdom and knowledge. The people on earth believe they understand what is meant by peace, in the manner they know of it, according to their experiences. However, the endless peace of creation surpasses their current understanding. The reasons for this are the various illogical religious teachings that currently dominate the people on earth's thinking, which prevent them from gaining comprehension through their own experiences. For experience is the key to understanding the truth. A man or woman's spirit holds wonders over wonders. The visible universe, with which people normally deal, is only a tiny spot within this wonderful, endless, spiritual intelligence of consciousness. Countless billion universes, like this one, are in existence, within the endless expanses of reality. What is visible to someone's physical eyes, is merely an infinitesimal iota within endlessness. What the people on earth cannot see with their physical eyes, is immeasurable, inconceivable and unthinkable. It is confusing and unimaginable, for someone unaccustomed to using their infinite spiritual intelligence and mental capacity. The entire visible universe is just one of many, therefore, they must be counted as myriads, for there are universes within universes, universes beyond universes, universes under universes, universes above universes, and universes outside of the universes, within this almighty, colossal and all-creative spiritual intelligence of existence. Every man and woman actually is their almighty spirit, and therefore, is always connected to these elemental forces of existence. Consciousness and its infinite spiritual intelligence, for a fragment of creation itself, dwells within, and enlivens each physical body as a spirit. Its infinite power, joy, peace, freedom, wisdom, knowledge, and abilities, are inconceivable, for those who are spiritually ignorant or illogical, for critics and know-it-alls, those dependent on religions, degenerated ones, and anyone else, who has been led astray in some manner. Only someone who learns the truth, and produces wisdom and knowledge from it, may be considered wise and knowledgeable. They know the answer to the last question of science, philosophy and the ignorant people on earth. However, in order to become such a man or woman, it is required to search for and find the truth, and to gain wisdom and knowledge from it, for someone is only able to spiritually grow in truth, wisdom, knowledge and love, in order to become freed from all frailties, through the vast power of their comprehension. Everyone has the ability to become enlightened and fully freed, if they, in their thoughts, incessantly and constantly dwell within the endless spiritual reality of consciousness. A man or woman's spiritual intelligence is enlivened by logical spiritual principles, and therefore, is automatically drawn towards self-perfection, and the infinite power of consciousness itself. This is in contrast to the current intelligence of most men and women on earth, which generally only deal with single things of the physical world. As a consequence, the people on earth are often restricted and handicapped in every direction, and they often get captured, suppressed, plagued and tortured by every possible form of misfortune, frailty and enslavement. A man or woman's own self-analysis is an essential tool to find the truth, and will help the people on earth walk the path of spiritual evolution. Therefore, it is necessary that the people on earth constantly examine their own thoughts, in order to see of what kind they are. They should make sure that ultimately they are always led, directed and determined by logical philosophical principles and realities, and by the laws of creation. Within the people on earth, there should always be a continuous feeling of belonging to what is creative, with their essential spiritual breath, their essential spiritual being. It should become clear to them that their essential spiritual being is inseparably one with what is creative, in order for them, in this awareness, to overcome the limitations of the physical world. This logical philosophical principle should always rule someone's thoughts, feelings and actions. Only those who are aware of their own spirit may recognize the truth, and therefore, only these people have the infinite possibilities of creation within themselves. Nothing negative within this or any other universe may harm or enslave them any longer. In addition to this logical philosophical knowledge, comes the practical and dynamic comprehension, which consists of the perception regarding the oneness of all things. Therefore, everyone should be a practical philosopher, in order to perceive reality in its changeable passing forms. For what is a man or woman? They are a physical body with the title. If someone takes away a man or woman's physical body and title, what will remain? What remains is their fundamental essence, the existence of self. Their spirit. Anyone who does not understand this, will be driven around and away by the slightest breath of air, without any hope for rescue, always striving to find a firm hold somewhere, unless they search for and find the fundamental truth themselves. Billions of people on Earth look up at the stars, however, often without any results or realizations. However, astronomers observe the sky with their telescopes, and discover many new things, often writing books about them, and taking beautiful photographs. Yet, the things they see with their telescopes, other people cannot see or recognize, if they simply look up and observe the sky with the naked eye. Despite their seeing eyes, the people are blind. In a similar manner, this is the case with the typical materialistic man and woman, and the spiritual people on Earth. Someone who truly strives to live according to the laws of creation sees everywhere, and recognizes what is creative in every life form, thought and act, in each man and woman, in all of nature, and in every conceivable circumstance. However, the typical materialistic men and women on Earth, who have been harmed by religions or other illogical teachings, cannot see, hear, or recognize even one iota of the truth. Their lives are not spiritual, and ever more pressed into materialistic goals and ideals. Therefore, they are blind, deaf and ignorant. Someone who adheres to the laws of creation, is the wisest and most fearless man or woman. Their will is insurmountable, their dedication immeasurable and endless, and their wisdom and knowledge is constant, not capricious and full of doubts, like it is the case with those who are dependent on religions, or those who have been led astray in some manner. Their mind resembles a vast ocean, and therefore, is not easily disturbed. They do not tremble with fear. They are constantly unfolding their spiritual life, which is not so easily harmed by degenerated negative forces. Their mind should give no shelter to negatively degenerated thoughts, and should also overcome all positively degenerated thoughts and actions. Only a balanced mind rooted in the laws of creation, in creative service, wisdom, knowledge, love and joy, that are more real than any physical walls around someone's environment, is valuable and serving a man or woman's spiritual development. Therefore, everyone should strive to be spiritually great and constructive at all times. A man or woman's spirit, which is the source of all endless creative development, is itself someone's innermost being. A man or woman's physical body is full of limitations, for it is not the self, but only its wrap, a misleading matter, the source of toil and pain, limited regarding will, comprehension, willingness to make sacrifices, freedom, love and luck. If someone looks at other people only in an external, materialistic way, they see nothing more than their physical body, the outer material of an infinite being. However, if they are able to see, with the spiritual eyes of comprehension, and know that this all-encompassing consciousness of themselves, is also in every other man and woman, albeit unknown to them, the manner of how they see other people changes dramatically. They do not simply see a man, woman, boy or girl any longer, but see others as infinite creative spirits that want to reveal themselves, if there would only be offered an opportunity. Those who know the truth, see other people from this perspective, and they are able to recognize in them what is creative and infinite. At least they are more knowledgeable now, than before they learned the truth. This is evidence that ignorance may be completely destroyed, by the bright and penetrating light of comprehension at any given moment. If the people on earth are willing to learn the truth, they will free themselves from ignorance. A man or woman is able to free themselves from everything, and everything may be taken from them, except their spirit. They may be robbed from their possessions, or even driven away from their home, however, no one may ever remove them from the spiritual realm, within their interior. Therefore, the people on earth should be constantly aware of what is creative, without which they could not draw a single breath, grasp any thoughts, and could not realize, see, hear, or experience anything at all. This is why many great sages of the past have said, A man or woman's spirit is closer than their own breath. The people on earth will come to understand wisdom and knowledge, for their physical bodies will always experience the natural course of life and death. A man or woman's spirit is the life of their life, the consciousness of their consciousness, the light of their light, the central thought force of all things, the existence that projects all logical thinking by far, against which the powers of a man or woman's physical intellect sinks into absolute insignificance. A man or woman's spirit, and therefore, their consciousness, is able to see without physical eyes, in the same manner they are able to live without hearing, arms, legs, a physical body, or even without the exterior consciousness awareness. However, there is always something present that enables them to remain alive, namely, their own spirit's force. This awareness of oneself, this all-observing and all-registering spiritual consciousness within each man and woman, that looks at their thoughts and motions, that stands behind all of their thinking, that informs them, whether they are ignorant or knowing, this is what is called someone's spirit. To always think again and again about the fact that a man or woman's spirit is omnipotent, always present, all-knowing, and beyond this, endless luck, beauty and value, actually the real value of all things, lets the word creation become very important to them, and brings forth spiritual evolution. As often as the concepts, natural living spirit and creation, are impressed upon a man or woman, there occur within them psychological changes of the greatest importance. Their feelings and senses become more refined. The clearer their spiritual intelligence becomes through comprehension and experience, the more their personality grows, and the more peaceful their life will be. A wise man or woman full of understanding may be able to see what will happen in the most distant future, perhaps even billions of years. Therefore, the greatest knowledge is available to them. How is this possible? Such a man or woman has the necessary requirements within their interior, within their spirit. The truth may be perceived with closed eyes, for within each man and woman's spirit is the entire spiritual realm. However, it is visible only to those who look inward with their imagination. It is available to every man and woman, if they are willing to work towards this. Each man and woman has within themselves the entire spiritual realm, however, it is covered and beaten with ignorance, errors, imperfections, illogical concepts, mistakes, and restrictions of all kinds, which should be changed to their opposites, through the recognition and comprehension of reality. The people on earth should acknowledge and resolve any illogical concepts, by developing abilities that are opposed to everything degenerated, and find a neutral balance. The way to experiencing the infinite power of someone's spirit, will be accelerated through unfolding a conscious search, and the gathering of real knowledge, which leads to the all-encompassing cosmic wisdom and love, based on the understanding that consciousness is present within everything. Each man, woman, plant, animal or particle of matter that exists in every universe, are one with everything in reality, in truth, wisdom and knowledge, and in the recognition, regarding the existence of consciousness. It is a fact, that people are separated through space and time, and their bodies from each other, however, this is able to be overcome through internal experiences. Wisdom and love combined, knowledge and comprehension combined, a man or woman's spirit's wisdom and knowledge lead, through experience, to unity, peace, universal happiness, joy and real love. Since most people on earth do not know the laws of creation, and are led astray, namely, by consciousness enslaving religions, they make many mistakes, searching for lasting treasures where they cannot be found, and therefore, constantly violate the laws of creation. As precisely as they blindly follow the earth governmental laws of society, they will offend against the laws of creation, and all natural order in the universe. They will let themselves be captured in material troubles, sorrows and problems, in fright, illogical concepts, deceptions and failings, in misfortune, spiritual ignorance, consciousness enslavement, and restrictions of all kinds. Exactly what is of greatest value, will be made unobtainable, due to the confusion and insanity caused by the various religions, which perpetuates the people on earth's vast ignorance. To the people on earth, this ignorance caused by the misleading religions, disguise the source of all valuable things, the life of their life, and the light of all intelligence. Their spirit, which is a fragment of creation itself. every man and woman should recognize that the entire realm of their daily life and experiences are creative. They should observe themselves logically, and with comprehension of the truth. They themselves should realize their oneness with everything, in order to evoke all that is creative in reality, and in this way, bring it to recognition and experience. For everything is a very small piece of consciousness itself, and is enlivened by its own awareness, through which everything is one in all things. However, the question of how someone may identify themselves with everything remains, especially when they do not know their own spirit's logical path. Generally, they identify themselves with their physical body. However, what will happen when they try to comprehend the truth, and align themselves within their interior? In the spiritual realm? Involuntarily, the entire world dissolves while in this experience of the spiritual realm. The one and only force of consciousness rules everywhere. However, how can someone identify themselves with everything? They should see themselves for exactly what they really are. Generally, the people identify themselves with their physical body. They care for it like a precious gem, nurture it, and take trouble for it until self-sacrifice. They surround themselves with pride, junk and worthless delusions, while they let their spirit's growth become stunted. A little bit of pain makes them angry, sullen and uncomfortable against others, or they even start complaining and crying, have self-pity, and rob themselves of their life. They surround their physical body with some nondescript halo, with vanity, fear, sorrow, pride and problems. More and more often, everything revolves around their physical body. Often they extend this identity towards their material possessions, and get upset if someone accidentally touches their things. However, what should someone do about it, when they have gained comprehension regarding their own infinite nature? They should identify themselves with all things, all the world's life forms, and the extraordinarily tremendous number of universes currently in existence. Someone who is full of spiritual wisdom, knowledge, love and comprehension, knows that from the truth everything originates and will originate for all great times. Therefore, they identify themselves with everything. In their spiritual comprehension, they will always be, in their innermost part, one with everything. In their interior, within someone's spiritual consciousness, they can identify themselves with everything in the universe, in the same manner that someone who thinks materialistically identifies themselves with their physical body, their money, possessions, their confused speaking and teaching, and with the sound of their voice. However, when someone identifies themselves with everything in the universe, hate and greed are not able to dwell within them nearly as often. For they have always been one with the essence in everything. Many people may claim something as their exclusive property, however, those who think logically identify themselves with the truth, and therefore, they realize their oneness with all things. All fright leaves them, when they identify themselves as a natural living spirit, and follow the laws of creation. Any negative and malicious attacks that may happen, always have a beneficial outcome. The spiritual man or woman, who employs logic and reasoning, remains undisturbed, and all of nature is well disposed towards them. With their attacks, malicious people cause the spirit within to unfold even greater strength and power, and overcome everything that is illogical, vile and degenerated. Ultimately, malicious intrigues only contribute to the recognition of the truth, and aid the growth of those who think logically. Unfortunately, there are many people who wish troubles and bad things to those who think spiritually and with logic. They generally have the opinion that they could destroy them through critique, know-it-all mannerism, lies and defamation, through complaints and illogical concepts, as well as through condemning and making a fool of them. However, they only cause damage to themselves, for their actions are evidence of intellectual foolishness and ignorance, from which those who think spiritually learn even more, becoming even greater in their wisdom, knowledge and comprehension. Are such facts perhaps suggestions? To claim this would be a delusion. For it deals here only with facts from reality. Generally, the lives of those who think illogically, and who have been led astray, are dependent on religions full of confusing suggestions, imaginary concepts and delusional assumptions. The only possibility and therefore, the only means to overcome these damages, is to fundamentally recognize the existence of a man or woman spirit, which abolishes all illogical figments of someone's imagination, to adhere to this understanding, and to let rule the highest creative spiritual forces. Many confusing suggestions and illogical concepts may be corrected, by saying I am a natural living spiritual being, and a fragment of creation itself. However, the realization that everything is imaginations and illusions, except the creative spiritual force and reality, will not diminish the eagerness that people express in the unfolding of their lives at all. Instead, it will enable them to reach unimagined heights. Only that which is logical, and which remains logical, can be valid as truth, and is something on which everyone may depend on through all great times. The truth never needs to be adjusted to some new time, and therefore, is constant for all times. It is eternally constant, and always sounds the same, even if it is spoken with different words, or in a different language. It is the rock upon which all people, in all times and spaces, are able to build their lives. The truth existed before life, and therefore, the truth will exist afterward as well. What is only of a short duration is dangerous, a grave deception, and a confused teaching. The laws of creation are always the same, today just as tomorrow. They are always unchanging, and of eternally constant value. They do not change either name or form, because the laws of nature, and therefore, the laws of creation, are eternal and constant. The people on earth should use their logic, in order to learn and comprehend the truth. The truth is imperishable like creation itself, it is that which is eternal and constant, and is worth unlimited effort and will, for understanding the truth, will prevent the people on earth easily falling prey to confusion. Therefore, they should strive to comprehend the truth, in order to become imperturbable in constant calmness, joy, strength, wisdom and knowledge. Every man and woman spirit contains endless wisdom and knowledge, which is subconsciously drawn upon every day. Therefore, the people on earth should utilize the infinite power of their spirit, as well as the vast wisdom and knowledge it contains, and should search for understanding in their own thoughts. A spiritual man or woman knows well that they cannot move their hand in a room without touching myriad of what is creative, for it is always present, in all times and spaces. They experience great joy when they recognize and comprehend the truth, that they are a fragment of creation itself. What is creative, is full of endless peace, wisdom, knowledge, and the last relative perfection. A man or woman spirit, is the source of all wonders, and the highest spiritual consciousness, that is present everywhere, within and without. A man or woman's spirit's joy, is as endless as the spiritual life itself. In order to achieve fast progress, the spiritual men and women looks upon everything as creative. As soon as they see something, they see what is creative. Behind everything, in all of its many manifestations, there is always what is creative. Therefore, the spiritual one does not walk this way or that way, in order to attain the highest experience. Instead, they always find the best place to gather recognition and experience, wherever they find themselves at the present moment. The spirit they need to perfect, is within their interior, and not at some other location. They may only perfect it, through their own thinking, actions and experiences. Through this understanding, their attitude becomes a sanctuary, and all things near them become peaceful, even the earth below their feet. The spiritual one does not see the future, as the time to experience the infinite power of their spirit, but the immediate here and now, through which they, in the eyes of non-spiritual people, live in the most distant future, often completely misunderstood. For the spiritual men and women, the time is not sometime, but always in the immediate here and now. For them, it is not necessary to see with their physical eyes, in order to clearly recognize the truth. They begin to search within themselves, and the truth becomes more and more real to them, because for them, their spirit is the all-registering presence of their self, their essence. The truth no longer remains hidden from them. In order to progress quickly, the spiritual men and women hear the sound of truth from any sound they hear, and penetrates their consciousness, firmly establishing itself there. In the same manner, everything reminds them of that which is creative, and of the immediate truth. Every circumstance is a creative circumstance, each opportunity is a creative opportunity. Logical people live and work peacefully with this understanding, and through this they internally comprehend the truth. What is spiritually great, is present within their innermost as little things, for in learning and comprehending the truth, the infinite dwells within the finite. Within every man and woman, the infinite has its seat. However, at this time, very few people on earth recognize the truth. In order for someone to utilize the infinite power of their spirit, they need to have reasonable logic, and they need to free themselves from illogical concepts. To wake up the infinite, and let it become effective, is the goal of all life's spiritual perfection. Those who are rich in wisdom and knowledge, become an instrument in expressing the spiritual realm. The wisdom, knowledge and comprehension, gained from the laws of creation, will help the people on earth grow. Those who understand the truth, are free from all boundaries and restrictions, which may arise from the material circumstances of life, and therefore, are constantly aware of their own infinite nature. In the case of the people on earth, study of the material principles prevail. In the not too distant future, scientists on earth will discover these principles in matter. Consciousness is included along with everything that exists, which constantly unfolds itself and develops further. Only the unrestricted power of a man or woman's spirit, and creation itself, represent real freedom, perfection, understanding, power, wisdom, knowledge, truth and love. In its relative perfection, all of these are creation itself. In order to gain anything truly worthwhile in life, the people on earth must become aware of what is creative, unrestricted and unlimited. Everything that is limited and restricted, brings irrationality, confusion and problems. Regardless of how attractive they may be, finite things will always become a source of problems. The finite things of all forms, are unnatural for someone's innermost essence, and therefore, they cannot recognize or love them as truth, without harming themselves most severely. At all times they are full of faults, because everything that is finite, brings along many problems and difficulties. If the people on earth love or have something that is finite, it at least has the fault of being absolutely transient. They may love it greatly, according to their current understanding of love, yet, when its time comes, it perishes, and they mourn over the loss of it. That which is limited, always has other faults too. Even if it does not immediately perish, it is at least constantly subjected to changes. If it is full of the people on earth's unreal love one moment, it may be displaced by and filled with their hate the next. Whether it is a thing that changes or perishes, or someone who changes their approach towards another, the result is always sorrow and suffering. However, that which is not limited cannot change, for it is of unlimited and absolute lasting value. When comprehension of reality dawns within the people on earth, their spiritual knowledge will grow, they will be guided by universal love, and their lives will become peaceful. However, this can only happen when comprehension of reality has ripened within them. Then they will become aware of themselves as natural living spirits, which are fragments of creation itself. Creation is present in spiritual wisdom, knowledge and comprehension. Those who struggle for spiritual wisdom and knowledge, and work to gain comprehension of reality, will gain the use of the infinite power of their spirit. If people love their spirit, and the laws of creation, they love that which embodies the spiritual realm within itself, for it is the path to wisdom, knowledge and comprehension. The people on earth should become aware of their creative presence, and allow their spiritual intelligence to shine forth from within. They should also recognize that even in the vast, infinitely open spaces, the mind of that which is creative observes through them. Consciousness is the true intelligence that is themselves, with awareness that keeps everything safe, and is endowed with a sense of being, and which is able to answer any question. Therefore, they should live consciously with a mind that is aware of their own infinite existence. They should have an awareness of the truth, which is infinite power, for they will always be a fragment of creation itself. With this awareness, they cannot ever become weak,